You see 0% interest at checkout. Your brain relaxes. Your wallet unclenches. And somehow, the couch you were just casually considering now feels like a responsible financial decision. Because the screen does not say debt, it says freedom. It says 12 easy payments. It says buy now. Deal with future you later. And future you apparently has unlimited patience, unlimited discipline, and a bank account that has never been ambushed by rent, groceries, insurance, or that one subscription you forgot existed. For most modern consumers, 0% interest is not a gift. It is a carefully engineered pause button on pain. The store is not trying to make money from interest today. The store is trying to remove the tiny moment of discomfort that normally stops you from buying something bigger, sooner, and with less thinking. That discomfort has a name. Behavioral economists call it the pain of paying. Plain English version: spending hurts a little, not physically, not dramatically, but your brain feels a small loss when money leaves your control. Cash makes that pain obvious. You hand over a bill. It disappears. A debit card makes it quieter. A credit card makes it softer. And 0% financing tries to make it vanish completely. Drazen Prelec and George Lowenstein described this idea in their work on the pain of pay, showing that the timing and visibility of payment changes how people experience spending. When payment feels separate from consumption, the purchase feels less painful, which is a very academic way of saying this. If you can sit on the couch today and pay for it later, the couch feels cheaper than it really is. Convenient, right? Now, watch what happens. You walk into a store needing a $700 laptop. Not a luxury machine, not a glowing spaceship with a keyboard, just a laptop. Then the salesperson shows you the $300 model. Better screen, faster processor, more storage. It will make you productive. It will practically do your taxes, heal your childhood, and whisper affirmations during spreadsheets. You hesitate, because $1,300 feels like $1,300. Then the magic sentence arrives. It is 0% interest for 18 months. Suddenly, the price is not $300. The price is about $72 a month. That number feels small, almost polite. You spend more time judging the monthly payment than the total cost, because your brain has shifted from ownership math to cash flow math. Cash flow math means you ask, can this fit into this month? Ownership math means you ask, is this actually worth the money? Those are very different questions. One protects your wealth. The other protects the sale. Richard Thaler, who won the Nobel Prize for his work in behavioral economics, studied mental accounting. That is the way your brain separates money into little imaginary buckets. Rent money, grocery money, fun money, bonus money, future money. 0% interest exploits those buckets beautifully. The full price goes into a foggy future bucket. The monthly payment goes into a tiny present bucket. And because the tiny present bucket does not overflow today, your brain approves the purchase. This is how a $700 need becomes a $300 lifestyle upgrade without ever feeling like a $600 decision. The trap is not always the interest. Sometimes the trap is the permission. Because once a payment is small enough, almost anything can look affordable. A phone becomes only $41 a month. A mattress becomes only $89 a month. A vacation becomes only $166 a month. A car becomes a monthly payment so normal that nobody even says the total price out loud anymore, as if the full number has been locked in a basement for everyone's emotional safety. What happens when 5 small payments become 9? What happens when every company learns to chop your life into bite-sized obligations? Your income starts arriving with its hands already tied. Before you decide what to do with your money, past you has already spent it. That is the first real cost of 0% interest. It turns future income into collateral. Collateral means something the lender can count on if you do not pay. In this case, the thing being claimed is not your house or your car. It is your next paycheck. Your future flexibility gets sold in tiny slices. And flexibility is one of the most underrated forms of wealth. A person with $30 in the bank and no monthly obligations may be more financially free than a person with a nicer apartment, newer phone, designer couch, and 19 payments, quietly chewing through every payday. The second cost is attention. Every payment creates a task. Track the due date. Remember the promotion end date. Avoid late fees. Make sure autopay works. Check that the account was not moved, merged, renamed, transferred, or buried under an app notification written by someone who hates clarity. One payment is manageable. Several payments become mental clutter. and mental clutter has financial consequences. Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky showed through prospect theory that people do not experience gains and losses equally. Losses usually feel more painful than equal-sized gains feel good. That means your brain will work hard to avoid feeling like it lost money. 0% interest sneaks around that defense. It delays the loss. It lets the pleasure happen now and pushes the pain into a future version of you who cannot vote on the purchase. That future version of you is very generous. Unfortunately, that future version of you also has bills. The third cost is the trapdoor. Some 0% offers are simple. You make the payments on time, pay the balance before the promotion ends, and you never pay interest. Fine. That is not magic. That is discipline. But some offers use deferred interest. Deferred interest means the lender postpones interest during the promotional period. But if you fail to pay the balance in full by the deadline, interest can be charged from the original purchase date, not from the day you missed, from the beginning. That is the trapdoor. Imagine buying a $20 appliance on a 0% promotion. You pay every month. You feel responsible. Then life happens. Your car needs repairs. Your rent increases. Your hours get cut. You reach the end with $143 still unpaid. Suddenly, the promotion was not free money. It was a countdown timer. Now interest may appear like a villain stepping out from behind the curtain, wearing a little banker suit and pretending this was all very clearly explained in paragraph 9 or APR is the annual percentage rate. Plain English version, it is the yearly cost of borrowing money, shown as a percentage. If a card has a 29% APR, that does not mean the bank is mildly annoyed at you. It means carrying debt can become brutally expensive. Interest is money charged for time. And when time is priced that high, delay becomes a luxury product. This is why 0% interest is so psychologically powerful. It borrows trust from the number 0. 0 feels safe. 0 feels clean. 0 feels like nothing can go wrong. But 0 interest does not mean 0 risk. It can mean 0 friction, 0 pause, 0 moment where you ask whether the thing fits your actual life. The old version of this trick appears all over financial history. Charles Ponzi did not become famous because people carefully studied cash flow statements. He became famous because he sold an easy story about effortless returns. The 1920 Ponzi scheme promised people money without the normal discomfort of risk. Different product, same weakness. You love financial stories where the hard part disappears. Earn now, think later. Buy now, pay later. Invest now, understand later. The human brain is not defective for wanting this. It is tired. It is busy. It is surrounded by companies with more data, better designers, and entire departments dedicated to discovering exactly which button, color, phrase, payment plan, and countdown timer will make your resistance collapse. This is where 0% interest becomes less like a financial tool and more like a behavioral weapon. A tool helps you do something you already chose. A weapon pressures you into choosing before you fully think. So how does this show up in real life? Picture your month. Your income arrives. At first, it looks good. Then rent leaves, groceries leave, utilities leave, insurance leaves, the phone installment leaves, the furniture payment leaves, the buy now pay later clothing order leaves, the laptop plan leaves, the holiday purchase from last year leaves, because apparently December has a way of haunting April. Nothing looks catastrophic by itself, but together, your paycheck turns into a hallway full of tiny toll booths. Every toll booth says the same thing. You agreed to this. And you did. That is what makes the trap so quiet. Nobody robbed you. Nobody forced you. The system simply made yes feel painless. Now compare that with investing. Compounding is when money earns a return. Then that return earns its own return. Like a snowball rolling downhill and picking up more snow. Jack Bogle, the founder of Vanguard, built his investing philosophy around low-cost index funds. An index fund is a basket of investments that tries to match a whole market instead of betting on one company. Low cost matters because fees quietly reduce your compounding over time. Now imagine two versions of you. Version 1 keeps upgrading through 0% plans, a $1.72 laptop payment, and $1.89 mattress payment, a $1.41 phone payment, a $120 furniture payment, a $1.60 clothing payment. That is $382 a month. Before anything dramatic has even happened. Version 2 keeps the older phone, buys the simpler laptop, waits on the furniture, and invests that same $382 a month into a broad market index fund. No guarantee, no magic. Markets go up and down, sometimes violently, because stocks are ownership pieces of companies and companies live in the real economy, which is messy, emotional, and occasionally ridiculous. But over long periods, productive businesses have tended to grow with the economy. If that $382 a month compounds at an average annual return of 7%, after 30 years, it could grow to more than $460. That is not because $382 is a giant number. It is because time is. Now, here is the counterintuitive part. 0% interest can cost you money even when you never pay a cent of interest. Because the real comparison is not 0% interest versus expensive interest. The real comparison is spending now versus keeping future options open. Every payment plan competes with an emergency fund. An emergency fund is money set aside so one bad week does not become 6 bad months. Every payment plan competes with investing. Every payment plan competes with the ability to leave a job, move cities, help someone you love, start a business, or simply sleep without doing mental gymnastics over due dates. The cost is not printed on the receipt. The cost is what your money can no longer do. Economists call that opportunity cost. Plain English version, when you choose one thing, you give up the next best thing your money could have done. 0% interest hides opportunity cost by making the chosen thing feel free. But it is not free. It is claiming a piece of your next month, and then the month after that, and then the month after that. This does not mean every 0% offer is evil. Used carefully, it can be useful. If you already planned the purchase, already had the cash, already understand the terms, and already have the discipline to pay it off before the deadline. 0% financing can preserve liquidity. Liquidity means easy access to cash. Cash in the bank is liquid. A couch is not. Unless your couch has a secret ATM inside, which would finally justify the upgrade. But notice the condition. The decision must come before the financing, not after. If you would not buy the thing with cash today, the payment plan should not magically make it a good idea. The clean rule is simple. Ask the cash question first. Would you still buy this at the full price if the store demanded payment right now? If the answer is no, the financing is not helping you afford it. It is helping you ignore it. Then ask the future you question. Will this payment make your next few months stronger, or just narrower? That word matters, narrower. Because financial stress often feels like life getting narrower. Fewer options, less breathing room. More waiting for the next paycheck, more little calculations before normal decisions. That is how the trap works. It does not always destroy you. It compresses you. A little here, a little there. Until the income that should have made you feel safer barely touches your life before it is gone. Your bank does not need you to go broke. The store does not need you to fail. The lender does not need you to collapse under debt like a tragic documentary character staring out a rainy window. They just need you to buy a little more than you would have bought if payments still hurt. They need your brain to confuse monthly manageability with actual affordability. They need you to see zero and stop asking questions. The defense is not fear, it is friction. Bring back the pause. Before accepting a 0% offer, write down the full price. Not the monthly payment, the full price. Write down the final payoff date. Write down what happens if you miss it. Write down what that same monthly payment could become if invested, saved, or simply left as breathing room. Then decide, not while the salesperson is smiling, not while a checkout timer is blinking, not while the app says only 3 left, because apparently urgency has become the official language of modern commerce. Decide when your brain is quiet, because 0% interest is not just a financing offer. It is a test of whether you can still feel the true weight of a purchase when the system has wrapped it in softness. The number 0 is powerful, but your future is bigger than a payment plan. So the next time you see 0% interest at checkout, your brain does not need to relax. Your wallet does not need to unclench, and the couch does not suddenly become responsible. You see 0% interest at checkout, and this time, you see the price.